Winter. Usually when people think of winter, they think of snow, cold weather, and skiing. However, since I live in Hong Kong, where the four seasons are cool, warm, hot, and warm, we don't really have snow, cold weather, or skiing. So back in the 2015 winter break, me and my family decided to go to South Korea, as it was an Asian country that we haven't been to before. We searched through some travel packages, found some good ones, and booked a flight to Korea. On our first couple of days, we lived at a ski resort, and it was actually quite nice. The resort was built like a giant cabin with a Christmas tree in the middle, and had great breakfast as well. But the main attraction at the ski resort was, unsurprisingly, the ski slopes. This resort had 5 slopes, 1 easy, 2 intermediate, and 2 advanced. Now on the second or third day we went out to ski, and the guides taught us basic skiing with the French fry pizza thing and the curved and S-shape thing. So everyone goes on the beginner slope for a while, takes pictures, and then moves on to the other slopes. I stayed on the beginner one for a while, but I eventually kinda get the hang of it, and then my sister convinces me to go on this fairly formidable slope after I learn the basics. I'm pretty doubtful of my skiing abilities, but she says that I know the basics, and this is only intermediate, so it should be okay, and I trusted her judgment, so I agreed. So we queue up for the ski lift to go on the intermediate slope. We eventually get to the ski lift, and it takes an unusually long time to get up the slope. An unusually long time. We get up to the top, and there's about 10 meters of flat space, which slowly transitions into the ski slope. And since this is the height of tourist season in South Korea, there's the population of a small country on the ski slope right now, and I'm currently doubting my ability to ski down the slope. However, my sister goes first and she gets down fine, so I basically think to myself, what's the worst that could happen? And I move down the flat area to the slightly sloped surface and slowly slide down onto the slope. At first, it was quite fun. I was doing the pizza thing and going in an S-shape the entire slope. The amount of people generally wasn't a problem because most were going the same speed as me. We were moving as a sort of herd down the slope. However, I noticed that I was going faster than usual at one point. I got to a point where I was curving towards the right side of the slope at an alarmingly fast pace, and I was going to curve back to the left to complete my S-shape, but there was a mother and her child standing still there, so if I turned, I would crash into them and potentially kill a small child. So I decided, well, nothing I could do, and I crashed directly into the orange netting. Surprisingly, I get out of the crash with no major injuries, and the mom of the child were like, are you okay, and all that. Now, by this time, I'm about halfway down the slope, and I decide to continue all the way to the bottom. So I begin skiing again, doing the S-shape and pizza, but I again crash into the orange netting, maybe 10 meters from where I originally crashed. Now, I don't exactly remember how I crashed the second time, but the first time I crashed into the netting, it could be excused. There were a ton of people on a steep slope, and I ended up in a situation where it would be murder a small child or crash into the netting. However, I crashed into the netting a second time. By this point, I basically admitted to myself that I'm a terrible skier, and I now had 2 choices. I could either put on my skis and attempt to ski down with my horrible skiing skills yet again, or I could just sort of slide down on the side of the slope where no one was skiing. And I decided to choose the second option since I already failed twice, and now I was presented with 2 more options. I could either take off my skis and sort of stumble my way down the slope with one hand holding the skis and the other holding onto the netting for dear life, or I could keep my skis on, sit down, and slide down on my butt down the slope, periodically grabbing onto the netting to prevent myself from barreling down the slope at terminal velocity. And I basically chose a combination of the two. After what seemed like an eternity, I finally got down the slope onto flat land, and I basically accepted after that, 1, I should probably never ski again, and 2, I should not trust my sister's judgment.